As a 70-mile wide asteroid hurtles toward Earth, two unlikely travel companions discover that together they can face the end of life as we know it in seeking a friend for the end of the world.
Welcome to Made in Hollywood. I'm Steve Carell, and here is a scene from Seeking a Friend for the End of the World.
The final mission to save mankind has failed. The 70-mile-wide asteroid known as Matilda is set to collide with Earth in exactly 3 weeks' time, and we'll be bringing you our countdown to the end of days, along with all your classic rock favorites.
I'm gonna say that Dodge has some familiar characteristics to a few of the characters you've played before. Mm-hmm. What do you think is, where does Dodge start out, and what does the film do for him?
Well, I think he's a guy who lives with an enormous amount of regret on his back, and where I saw the character going is somebody who acknowledges that and then starts to try to live in the moment and embrace all of those things that he hadn't up until that point.
What are you doing with the rest of your life?
Catching up on some me time, find God, maybe move around some chairs.
Maybe I'll run into you on orgy or something.
That sounds nice.
It's really weird. This is a film about the end of the world, but it is actually, I found it incredibly life-affirming.
It's uplifting,
yeah,
right?
it is. It's uplifting because it's sort of like about what becomes important, and it's love and it's friendship and it's, wonderful moments. It's not death, doom and destruction.
Right.
And I kind of love that about it.
Listen, Elsa, you don't have to come next week or ever if you don't want to. It's okay.
You fighting me?
There's just no need. Forget it.
See you next week, Mr. Dodge.
I regret my entire life.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye now.
How did you sort of balance, the backdrop with what the characters were going through in any given moment?
Yeah, I mean, it was always sort of the point from the beginning was to take, that sort of end of the world, doomsday scenario and try to tell a romantic comedy in there somewhere and allow for those two genres to kind of collide as much as possible. You're in your darkest time, sometimes that's when you get the closest to, humanity.
Hello? You okay?
No, I'm never going to see my family again.
Would you like to come in?
I won't steal anything if you don't kill me.
Agreed.
Now, when you first meet her, she actually is like in a sort of she's an emotional wreck.
Very
we'll call her.
emotional, yeah.
What is it that makes her sort of take that transformation?
Well, I think it is the unlikely friendship that she strikes up with Steve Carell's character Dodge in the film, and I think really this is a film about friendship as much as it's about anything else. It's about a really unlikely friendship and two people that would never have hung out, would never have kind of probably met each other, suddenly going, wow, you're really odd and you're really odd, that's great, and trying to figure each other out, and I love that about the film as well.
These are two people who are meeting under very specific circumstances, and they're completely different. There's the age discrepancy. They're from different worlds, and no, I don't see them as ever. I mean, they're neighbors, but they've had barely any interaction.
It's a strange circumstance that's put them together, absolutely. But I think, yeah, they're sort of those characters that would love each other's idiosyncrasies, and that's kind of what I loved about them.
No, I think this is exactly what they needed. I especially think, a character like Dodge, who's probably been, been sleepwalking through his whole life. I doubt he's ever lived in the present, and now there's no future, and he's chasing the past, and so I always felt like, the end of the world is exactly what this guy needs in order to open his eyes up and see what's around him.
That's part of what was interesting to me about it, is that it's these two really separate entities colliding and forming a bond, a friendship.
Who's the girl? She the one that got away?
Well, they all got away, but she was the first. Yeah.
Let's go find her.
We need to go, right now. If you drive me to where I need to go, I can get you to your family.
In a lot of ways, he also seems very emotionally repressed, and you can see that really start to open up in the film. As an actor, what's that like to play?
It's a challenge. It's because you have to do it incrementally. You have to not necessarily play the fact that somebody is repressed. That guy doesn't know he's repressed. He's not aware of it. So you can't play any awareness of it at all. It's just somebody who thinks they're doing the right thing or thinks they're at a different point perhaps than they actually are.
It was such a great script, and I think as soon as you start using your imagination a little bit and putting yourself in that person's shoes, you can understand how it can be a brilliant moment one minute, and then you'd remember that the world's ending the next, and that would be horrendous, and then actually the next minute that something great happens. You know, I mean, I kind of found it all understandable.
I've been with a different girl every day. You don't care about diseases, or are you gonna call them back, or are you related, you know?
No, I don't. I don't.
Could you relate to what these characters are going through? Obviously, you know, a doomsday event is something that we don't understand in a way, but how do you allow yourself to relate to them?
I think it's a giant metaphor, frankly. For everybody's life is going to end at some point. We don't necessarily know when that's going to happen. Most of us don't. And to me, thematically, it's about embracing it. You know, embracing your present, not living in your past, not living with regret, but to try to, you know, it's a very upbeat kind of theme in my mind, that you should live life to your fullest, and you should embrace the opportunity to find new friendships.
Luckily, I'm getting my midlife crisis in just under the wire.
Leave yourself open emotionally, which is something that my character really hadn't done up until this happens.
You can't be serious.
How fast are you going?
15 miles an hour over the speed limit.
Given the couldn't you find it in your heart to give my friend here a fighting chance of being with the one he loves before we all reach our untimely conclusion?
No.